One of the questions that I get asked a lot is, what is a good plant to grow in the shade? Well, I'm here to meet a gardener who's got the answer. It's a clivia. Beautiful and colourful. It really is the reigning queen of the shadows.
Clivias are such a valuable understory plant, and I guess it's really in the last 10 years that I've got a lot more serious about it and started to move into the world of breeding, trying to work on new varieties and refine them.
Peter Häusler is a gardener, plant breeder and unashamedly a clivia obsessive.
Probably some people who'd agree with that. I think a very committed clivia grower, very keen on hybridising new varieties, but there's a degree of obsessiveness there, I'm sure.
There's the big one that everyone knows, the clivia miniata, the orange one.
Yes, everyone who says, I've already got an orange, and this is what they're talking about.
But look at the range.
Yes, yes, now we've improved the form and the size. So the oranges now, you can get up to 10 centimetres or more. And then, of course, the creams or yellows that we're talking about, huge flowers, some getting towards white. But this is, from what I've seen, about as close as we're getting to white at the moment.
You've got reds, you've got greens, you've got plum colours, tangerines, all sorts.
So these are peaches. There's what we call, I'd put them under the umbrella term of European peaches, and so you get a lot of pink, apricot suffusion, you get the green in them as well. Yes, they're very richly textured.
And then these ones, the absolutely bi-colour.
Yes. Yes, so this is, as you say, the bicolour, and the aspiration of pretty well every clivia grower, every second clivia grower, is to push that margin out and enlarge that throat, so you're just getting an edge of colour, a picoté effect. So these, Jane, are the what we call versicolour forms, and these are new hybrids where you get one colour on the outside and another inside. Sometimes it can be very stark, the difference, sometimes more subtle, but they're very attractive. These are the ghosts, as we call them, or watercolours. They're given different names in different countries.
It's the range that's amazing. My eye was caught by this one, and then the exact contrast of a red.
Well, the reds are very elusive. They're probably the hardest. I could breed greens more easily than reds. The red's very elusive, but very striking, and probably the most popular colour. Then we get into bronzes. So that's a green-throated orange, but this is a truer bronze, and these are different shades of bronze. And the one at the end here, where you're getting more pink come through, so you get quite an interesting copper effect.
You have blown me away with your collection. Most people think of the colour of the flowers of the clivias, but really, the interest is also in the foliage.
Yes, yes, indeed. There's a lot more attention being given to this, the variegated forms, but also leaf patterns. And if we look at particularly Japanese and Chinese growers have worked even within the green form of leaf that we're more familiar with, cultivating much broader, shorter forms of leaf, but also this patterning, which is often referred to as painted face. Then, of course, you've got the variegations. So you've got this, which is a longitudinal variegation or striata variegation.
And creamy variation.
Yes, you can get several different colours across the leaf. So it's not just a matter of being green and cream. If you look carefully, you get greys, dark greens. With some variegations, the variegation will actually extend, not just through the leaves, but right up the stem, the flower spike.
Oh, that's amazing.
And right through, if you look very carefully, it's right through into the pedicels here. And then the berries in time will be variegated, or some will be variegated and some will not.
Now I noticed another variegation though. This is a totally different one.
This is something newer in the Australian context, although they've been around here a while. So these are what we call akabono. So you can see here, this one, for instance, that strong yellow, when this flower spike was coming up, it was butter yellow, the buds were butter yellow, and as they broke open, they have a red edge. It's very attractive in its own right. Gradually, as the weather warms, that will become more green, so you get more this sort of patterning.
Wow. Clivias like shade, but there's shade and other shade, isn't there?
Yes, absolutely. Clivias will grow in quite deep shade. They may be a bit leggy, but they'll still flower, not as well, but they'll still do that. And yes, you can push the boundaries. In fact, to get the best out of flowering, you do want to push the boundary a bit in terms of light. And I guess what you've got to watch is the sunlight in the autumn and spring will be good, but strong sunlight in the summer is another thing.
Well, Peter certainly knows and loves his clivias, but they're great plants that give a whole lot back to him as well.
Is there a point at which I would produce something and say, that's it, the perfect clivia? I don't think so. I think this is a bit the critic in me. I'm my own best critic, I think. You're always looking to improve.
If you're keen to have a go yourself, propagating clivias is quite easy, and I'll be back later in the program with Peter to show you how.
Just push them in like that. They're not using...
Earlier on, I visited Peter Hosler in his inspiring garden. Well, now I'm back to find out some great tips on how easy it is to propagate your very own clivias.
Well, there are basically two ways, Jane. One is from an offset from the plant. So as we can see here, this is a relatively young plant, but it's already sending up an offset there, which just comes via a shoot, let's say, from the parent plant, and there's another one coming there. Now, they will be exact copies of the parent plant in terms of the form and the colour.
So another way of propagating is by the seed?
Yes, indeed. So, and the thing to bear in mind with seeds is it's like children. Much as you might like them to be exactly like you, or you might not, they'll be hugely different in many cases.
Yeah, it's that variation that you're going to get because of the seed production.
Yes, exactly.
So how does one go about it? Because you hear it all the time. I've got these red things on my clivia bush, and what do I do with them?
Yes, Well, you simply take these. So these will ripen. Generally, it's when they change colour from green to red or yellow. That'll be anywhere between 6 and 12 months after they've flowered. You'll feel if they're nice and soft. That's why it's important to wait till the colour change. It's soft, easy to pull apart, and you can see here the seeds. So they're a lovely.
It's quite pulpy inside, isn't it?
Yes, very pulpy. What I would normally do is now take that, rinse it in lukewarm water, add just a drop of dishwashing liquid, and then I would leave them on a paper towel in a dish for several days. So when we come to planting them up, I just use a small pot like this, Jane. You don't want a big mass of soil because it's hard to keep warm. And if you can see the growing point, this one, it's not readily evident, but if you can see it, push it roughly pointing down. Simple as this, just put them in like that.
And you've just put them into some seed-raising mix?
Yes, this is just a seed-raising mix or just a good quality potting mix. Then I add a mix which has got a little bit more sand in, and I'll literally just cover them. Just to hold them down a bit. Then you make sure you tag them up with whatever the cross is, and then just a simple water like that.
It'll only take a month or so before they've germinated, and then you'll be well on your way to enjoying the mesmerisingly colourful world of clivias.